Hey y'all, welcome. We are at my office today. Welcome to Southern Sober and Sassy.
Hello.
Hello, Christy and I are excited to be with you today. Today's topic, as her and I both, and I'll let her speak for herself, but I pull from a lot of different readings in the morning. I watch Joyce Myers and her little blip. I read a lot of just for today's. I read NA literature. I read adult child literature. But there's also one from Tian Dayton, and I love her. She has Forgiving and Moving On. It's an inspiration, it's a daily devotion. And I think for me, it's important as a recovering perfectionist and a recovering people pleaser. I still go back and ask, what did I do wrong? Why can't this work? Why can't I fix this? And I only am willing to try to just look at my part and not realize that I am 50% responsible for 100% of my relationships, and maybe, just maybe, it wasn't where I needed to be at the time in that relationship. I know they come for a reason, a season, and so forth, but I love this because when we hold on to blame and hurt, it costs a very high price to us. Number one, emotionally and mentally. We are paying a huge price. And when we don't take care of our emotional and mental state, our spiritual state, our physical state, and our financial state eventually suffer. So I'm gonna redo this reading, and then I'm gonna let Christy speak a little bit, and then I'll speak, and then we'll answer questions that come up, and we'll go from there. So thank you. So today I understand I was born deeply dependent. It was no wonder that it was so terrifying when I stopped being able to rely on my parents. I was so completely vulnerable and needy. Where were you when I needed you? Is the cry of my inner child. I have taken some of this cry with me into adulthood as a feeling that no one can really understand me or my pain. But as I look back, it seems so obvious and uncomplicated. Of course, I feel bereft and desperate. Who wouldn't? It is the wall that I have built around those feelings that is so complicated and so hard to dismantle. It is made of self delusion, unspoken grief, resentment, and fear. And it is when I can take down my own wall, return to my former innocent state, and feel that what that child felt, that I can finally find myself and my higher power. And today I can face the full extent of my pain. And you know what? Matthew 18:3, unless you become a child, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. So, what you think, Christy?
Well, the very first thing that comes to my mind is you referenced Joyce Meyer. And Joyce Meyer said it best, plain as day: feelings are overrated, period. Feelings are overrated. They dominate us, they dominate our thinking, they dominate our decisions, and we end up doing really dumb things because of our emotions. And so when, you know, Joyce Meyer said that, I was like, all right, all right, all right. That holds a lot of depth and weight. Um, the other thing is the word dependence. In recovery, we are taught that our dependence now needs to be on a higher power. Well, I could not and would not do that. I didn't know how to do that. What in the world are these people talking about?
Yeah.
You want me to put all my dependence on this invisible power. Now, that's what I thought in early recovery. Here is the best way that I finally understood it, and it was like a wrecking ball, and it ties into feelings being overrated and where is my dependence. And so when when we are children, our first and only and sole dependence is on our parents for everything, for all of it: safety, food, shelter, nurturing, emotional um, nurturing. It just, our dependence is 100% on our parents. And so when our parents let us down, or they cheat, or they lie about finances, or they don't come home, or they start drinking too much, or, you know, or they don't show up for all of our basketball games, um, or they don't show up at our birthday party, I can overcomplicate that, in which I did, because that is a mass amount of emotional turmoil that a child does not know what to do with. And so I took all of those feelings into adulthood. But as a child, we don't know what to do with all of those feelings. And so all of those feelings for me then turned into resentment, anger, and ultimately rebellion on my behalf. I was like, all right, well, F you then. I'm going to make a bad situation worse. And I did, and I did. And I had to take responsibility for that as an adult. Anyway, so in my defense of purity and innocence as a child, like what she was reading, those are legit when we are children. But when I grow up and I take all of that and I start drinking and drugging to make those feelings go away, or gambling, or overeating, or finding, a bunch of different men, or whatever the blank may be, to change the way that I feel, I come crashing down. And um, with all of that being said, I ended up in an intervention, dropped off at rehab, went into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, which has turned out to be the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. But with everything that I just said, the wise lady, my sponsor, broke it down into one sentence, actually two sentences. She said, Christy, you expect people not to disappoint you. I said, you right. You right, sponsor lady. That's right. You right. You got that one right. And then she said, all people are going to disappoint you, including your parents. And you have gone your entire life. Now, keep in mind, I had two children at that point in time in my life too. She said, you have gone your entire life expecting people to not disappoint you, the people that you love the most. Your parents, check. Your kids, check. Your husband, check. I expected them to not disappoint me. Who's got the problem? It's not them, it's me. All people are going to disappoint you. And the light switch came on. All people are fallible. And she said, you have to understand that you have to flip your expectations of people and see it in reality. Reality is everyone's going to disappoint you. There are no perfect children, there are no perfect husbands, there are no perfect bosses, and there are no perfect parents. So expect them to disappoint you. And when they don't, it'll be a nice surprise. Now, I don't live my life negatively. I did not change my thinking into, oh, well, let me just be negative now. There's not, that's not negative thinking. That is empowered reality. Now I really am looking at life exactly how I am supposed to be looking at it. So when I do get disappointed, does it suck? Yes, we're all human. However, I don't get balled up in a corner, eating my feelings, snorting cocaine, and drinking my life away because of it. I say two words: oh well, oh well, oh well. And I feel the feeling for about a day or two. I used to feel it for 25 years. I feel the feeling for about a day or two. I choose how long I'm going to feel a feeling. I choose how long I'm going to feel a feeling. I feel it for a day or two, and then I let that shit go. And I use my tools. I call my people, and I be like, let me tell you what they done did. Let me tell you what happened. Okay? And I cuss it out, I walk it out, I scream it out, I cry it out, and then I put my big old panties on and I keep going. I keep going. Life is to be enjoyed, not endured. I understand that people are going to disappoint me. I also have to take full responsibility that I'm going to disappoint them too. Period. So, here's my little soapbox
Yeah, that's
on all that.
and that ties into just like we were talking, which the theme seems to be reoccurring as in is emotional sobriety. I mean, you know, and doing that work. And if you're not doing a 12 step, if you're not in a 12-step program, um, you can do the work with a therapist, a counselor, a coach. But that work of, learning to, I mean, Christy, you say it all the time, let go or be dragged.
Yep.
And I am not willing to get scuffed up anymore emotionally, meaning I'm tired of being raked over the coals, and I'm tired of, nursing my wounds.
But who ties themselves to the whipping post?
Me. And I know that. So just like our listeners, you create the environment that you want to live in. You cannot be pitiful and powerful, as Joyce Meyer says it all the time. We cannot be pitiful and powerful at the same time. Mm-hmm. And we cannot be the victim or the victor. You can't be both. And so I no longer want to be a victim. And I had to grow up very early, at an early age, between 7 and 9. Some things happened in my life, that were not appropriate. They happened, and guess what? I don't stay there. I grew from that, and now I held a resentment against, my family for a long time, which kept brewing and brewing, and it was all of their fault for everything that was wrong in my life. It was their reason why I did drugs. It was their reason why I drank. It was their reason why I chose multiple men. It was all everybody else's. It was everybody else's fault but mine. Until I got sober and I realized, oh my God, if I can take ownership because of my behavior, which I have, taking full ownership, when we can take full ownership, I don't know about you, but for me, when I have finally taken full ownership for my behaviors and my actions and my thoughts, all in one, when I can take ownership, it is relieving. Mm-hmm. It feels freeing. And it's like, I own it. Just like, when we own our story, nobody else gets to write it. So for me, owning my part in things is very, very healing and beneficial for me. Because then I don't have to be dragged. Because then guess what? I own my part and I cut the cord. Whether I'm cutting the rope with the pair of scissors or whether I'm taking a big hedge slammer and knocking the ball and chain, it's coming off. I enjoy my freedom. And, the screaming it out, like Christy, you shared with me the other day. Walk and yell and scream to the stop sign of everything you want to get rid of and turn around and come back and thank God for getting rid of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, and, I'm there. Mm-hmm. Because I know for me, if I want to experience growth and happiness, which I'm responsible for my own happiness, it comes from within, and I have to let go of these things that I've been holding on to. And they all bubble up and come up when it's the right time, when it's time, when we're ready. And I believe in my higher power that it's never presented until he feels I'm ready for it.
You know, you said something that is so pivotal. You know, it's kind of like, why do we do recovery? Why do y'all come on here and listen? Because you want to get better. Well, there is a saying in recovery, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. So let's simplify that. When I was blaming and blaming and blaming, my progress was very slow. And then the day came that my sponsors said to me, Christy, no one poured that alcohol down your throat and shoved that cocaine up your nose. It's not all of these people's fault. And I sat back in my chair. And now, mind you, I was 38 years old. I was almost halfway through my life. So I had a lot to address and look at. But I remember that day because I sat back in my chair and I crossed my arms and I said, all right, fine. I'll take responsibility for my lot. I'll do it. Yes, I did do this, and this. And yes, it is my fault. And yes, I do need to make amends. Okay, fine. I will take responsibility for it all. And mind you, it was a lot, okay? But I also have to remember who's got me when stuff like that comes out of my mouth. Okay? I'm not doing it alone. And if I did not have the power of God to help me, uh, it would be too much. But anyway, when I finally said, okay, fine, I'll take responsibility for my lot, massive, quick progress got made. Like, very quickly did I feel better, think better, walk better, talk better. I mean, the emotional baggage was like, man, gone. And life got a whole lot easier very quickly. Like in that moment that I said, okay, fine, I will stop blaming and I will take responsibility for my lot. So you have to remember that there's always a positive to a negative. When we're blaming and blaming and blaming, progress is very slow, and it's like it doesn't have to take that long, y'all. You can make very good rapid progress just by taking responsibility for your own shit. It's like poof, turbo progress, instant progress got made very quickly. So there's you always have to keep that in mind that we don't come on here for our health. We come on here to help y'all to make progress. And we give you the present. We lay the present on the table. You're either going to leave that present on the table or you're going to open it. Open it. Open it. Because we've got your back. We got you right here. We are not leaving you to where when you open that present, we got you. We got you whether you're moving slow or we got you whether you're moving fast.
Yeah.
We're here. We got you.
Yeah. And just know that, I mean, it's work. And whether you do the 12 steps in an anonymous program, whether you do the 8 steps in a faith-based program, whether you work with a therapist, a counselor, a coach, when you start working through and doing the steps of your life, just know that when you make the decision to, just like Christy said, when you make the decision to let go, listen, it is not about, people get it confused. I think people get well, if I forgive them, they hurt me. They sexually assaulted me. They physically hurt me. They did this. They did this. I can't forgive them because they need to pay.
Mm-mm.
Let me tell you something. It is about forgiving yourself first and foremost of holding on to it for so long. We are all deserving of healing. No matter what happened to us in childhood, we may also be owed, like I owed my children an amends because I was the crazy ass mother that wasn't there, that was drinking, that was drugging, that was choosing men over my kid. I mean, just a plethora of things. And I finally was able and I got to make amends to my daughters. But I will tell you that until I made those amends, I felt like a cat on a hot tin roof. It was very uncomfortable. And so when I was able to finally make those amends, now listen, after all of these years, I will tell you, there's been times now that I've had to make a 10, 11, 12 and make that amends like quickly, right? But I was able to do that because I've been continuously in a program of recovery. And it did not feel like I was a cat on a hot tin roof tap dancing around the subject. And I know that we are worthy of healing, and we're worthy of healing that little girl, that little boy inside of us, right? And once we take those steps to do that, listen, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but in my experience, it's been quickly. It's been quickly the relief. Like Christy was saying, it was the relief. It was the relief. It's like the top spin, on the top pot that's boiling, and then it finally whistles. It's like when that relief comes, you take that top off and the steam comes. That is what my insides felt like when I was finally able to let go of my anger and let go of my resentment. And I say it was to other people, Christy, it was to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what forgiveness has done for me.
There's another saying in recovery: do it anyway. In my when my sponsor said to me, "You need to take responsibility for your lot," I just looked at her like, "You're smoking crack, man. That's a lot of stuff to take responsibility for." Are you willing to do it anyway? Mm. Mm. Yes, ma'am. That's how I got sober. Was yes, ma'am. Amy brought up a good point about forgiveness, which is a whole nother topic all by itself. Are you willing to forgive? No. Are you willing to do it anyway? Yes. I don't know what's going to happen, but I knew that woman would not guide me the wrong way. And neither do we. We want you to genuinely get better. And there are times that you're going to have to take the leap of faith and do it anyway. You're going to feel better. It's going to be awkward at first, but we would not encourage you to do something that is going to set you back or make you feel worse. No. So anyway, think about those 3 words. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. That's how we got sober. We did it anyway. We didn't know what was going to happen, but it sure was better than what it was.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it has been better.
And it will continue to be because we are diligent in our program, and we are also diligent in helping y'all. Whatever it takes, whether we do a podcast at my house or her house or her office, we make it work. We make it work because we are dedicated to helping other people.
Amen.
Sister.
So we want to thank y'all for being here with us today. We're grateful for you showing up and listening. We're always here. In the show notes, you're going to see info at pursuitofrecovery.com. If you have questions, concerns, need help, reach out. That's what we're here for.
Always.
And we love y'all and hope you have a fabulous afternoon.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.